A marathon is just about seeing long term, seeing a vision, understanding that nothing really worthwhile happens overnight, and just sticking to your script long enough to make something real happen. Laying a brick every day instead of trying to build a brick wall. Just lay a brick every day. Eventually, you look up, you're gonna have a brick wall, brick wall, brick wall, brick wall.
What up, man? It's Marathon Preacher. I just want to take the time today to let you know, man, that you special, that your life is a movie, and you got to enjoy every part. So as I say that, I want to share a little bit about my life with you. I'll take you back to where it all started. I'm a young kid from Jamaica. If you see a lot of the things I wear, that's what's inside of my DNA. Come from very, very humble beginnings. A kid that didn't have a lot, but I had an abundance of love. I had family support, a great mom, a tremendous dad that was there for me every step of the way. A bonus mom, my stepmom. She did a fantastic job. I had a stepfather. He taught me so much. And for that, I'm always appreciative. Growing up as a kid in Jamaica, I was able to be free, wild, crazy, if you know me. And I really, really appreciated that experience growing up. It taught me that you didn't need much to have fun. I wouldn't classify us as poor. I'll say that we just didn't have much, but we were rich in spirit, rich in culture, rich in love. Um, for me, I struggled from the start. I was always reckless, just an accident waiting to happen. At 5 years old, I jumped off a 3-story building, attempting to try to land on top of a tour bus. I never made it to the tour bus. They came out and saw me hanging from a barbed wire with my neck. I was at a party, so they shut the party down and rushed me, a 5-year-old kid, to the emergency room for surgery. That's just the beginning. I really wasn't good at school. Had a hard time from the start. Wasn't good at reading or writing. I came to the United States when I was 9 years old. I was in the 4th grade. I started in 4th grade. I failed the 4th grade. I went to summer school. I failed summer school. So I got held back. You know what that brings? It brings a lot of embarrassment. You got to dig deep and you got to make it through those times. My dad, he took me from New York because that's where I moved to. I lived 4 years in New York from 9 to 12 years old. And I moved to Baltimore. And during that time of Baltimore, it was another experience. It's like living in the jungle. Never really took school serious. Always was a jokester. Chasing the ladies. That was my thing. I just wanted to have fun and have fun with the ladies and smile and joke and be a jackass. That was my specialty. But by the time I think I got to 16 years old and I was heading to high school, let that sink in. I said I was 16 years old heading to high school. I was 17 in the 9th grade. I ended up being 17 in the 9th grade too. But I didn't let that break my confidence. I didn't let that break my spirit, my demeanor. I got caught up just doing regular teenage things. Wanting fancy things. When you're a kid, you want the shoes. You see your friends with the Gucci shoes. You see your friends with, at the time, the Levi's, the Polo. What else? The Prada shoes. All these fancy things, and I wanted that too as a kid. And I would do anything to get it, except for work hard. Yeah, I would do anything to get it except for work hard. A lot of my friends, they were selling drugs at the time and hanging out, smoking weed. I never sold drugs, but I smoked weed with him, and I wanted money. So for me and my demeanor, the way I grew up, I came from an aggressive environment. Living in Jamaica for 9 years, and then living in New York City for the next 4 years, from 9 years old to 12 years old. That's a rough environment. Then moving to Baltimore, that's a rough environment. So you either have to adapt to your environment or you succumb to your environment. One of the two things are going to happen. So, if you know me, and a lot of times when you see me, if you ever play sports with me, you will notice the aggression that you see, the demeanor that you see. It comes from the environment, the element that I was raised in. And like during that time, I wanted to be cool, I guess. Be cool. So I wanted to fly things. I wanted to be at the parties and on the scene. So, while some of my friends were selling drugs, and I never got into that. Two of my best friends, one was a Blood, one was a Crip. I promised my mom before I left Jamaica that I wouldn't join a gang. And I never joined a gang. So I'm happy that I stuck to my code with that. During that time, I wanted fancy things, so I started cutting grass. And I was like, damn, well, this ain't making me enough money quick enough, so you know what, I gotta get the money quicker. So guess what? I started robbing people. I started taking some of my partners with me and showing them how to rob. And the money started coming with that. But my dad was on me. He was on my ass. He was like, how you got this and that? How you walking around with Nikes on your feet and all these other things? And I don't have that. I work 70, 80 hours a week, 7 days a week. And I don't have those things. How are you having those things? So he knew I was up to no good. He started bringing the police to the house, and police would come there and tell him, hey, we can't do nothing because he's not in trouble. He's not in trouble. And my dad, he was trying to get me out of the house, to be honest with you. But he couldn't legally do it because I wasn't of age. And he would look at me. He was like, look, man, you're going to get yourself into big trouble. And I'm going to tell you straightforward. I'm not going to be one of these parents that come out and get on the news and be like, my son was a good and crying tears. No, he's like, I'm giving you the real. I'm giving you the raw. If you continue doing what you're doing, you either going to end up in jail or you're going to end up dead. And I'm not going to be one of them parents on the news crying. And that's why if you speak to me today, when I speak, it's going to be real. I can't sugarcoat it because I wasn't brought up thinking shit was sweet. My family, they kept it real with me. They were honest with me. And I prefer that approach. So, to continue going on, I kept doing what I was doing, and I ended up getting locked up for a robbery charge at 16 years old. And, the ankle monitor, ankle bracelet, I've been on house arrest. I did those. I had that stage and ended up getting locked up almost 2 years. And I went to a program, Silver Oak Academy. It was a placement. Military ran. It was very military style. We did MPEs, CBCs, 3 mile runs per day, and GGM, which was a group meeting. So from start to finish during that program, I had structure. I had positive role models that really took me under their wings and guided me, protected me, gave me good advice, counseling. And that's how I began to turn my life around 16, 17, 18 years old. I only did 1 year in high school practically. I went into high school at 16 years old. I was 17 in the 9th grade, got locked up, and I ended up going to the military it was like military boot camp, Silver Oak Academy. And that's where I got a chance to really sit down and reflect. And when I got a chance to reflect, what actually turned everything around for me was during this time, I was sitting down with a counselor and she asked me, she said, you seem like a very good young man. You have manners, respect. Why are you here? And I didn't have an answer for her. So she then proceeded to ask me, what would your mom think? And I broke down crying. I broke down in tears for hours. And that day I knew I had to do something different. I knew that I was raised the right way. Morals, respect. I knew that I was disappointing my family. Most of all, I was disappointing myself. At a certain point, we all have to take accountability for our actions. Get serious about life. And that's what I began to do. So I ended up being 17 in the ninth grade. And from that video I shared a couple days ago, maybe yesterday or the day before, being 17 in the ninth grade to graduating valedictorian. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of hard work and dedication. It all started with a change of mind. Took a lot of prayer and just believing and having people that believed in me. So I'm letting you know, if you're watching this video, that I believe in you, but it's still up to you. And from there, that's when the journey took off. That's when I knew I wasn't going to go backwards. I'll be 30 years old this year. Never been arrested. Nothing on my record as an adult. Your juvenile record, that's expunged. So I'm letting you know, whatever you're going through today, wherever you are in life, if you're doing great, continue pushing. But if you are in a place where you know that you need to turn things around, I'm letting you know that you can. I'm letting you know that there's better days ahead. But it all starts with you. So whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go, if you have that vision inside of your head, this paper right here, you won't be able to see what's on it. This book, what I'm telling you is, if you want to make that change, you got to start writing it down. You got to start mapping your plays out, mapping out where you want to be. At 20 years old, I told myself that I was going to buy a house by the time I was 25. See, I had it a little different than going in my mind. I wanted to buy a house, a bachelor pad, and be single and still be wild. But God gave me something greater. He gave me a family. He gave me a home. My fiance and I, we purchased this home in 2019. So at 26 years old. And now we both will be 30 years old this April. So also on this pad is mapping the plays out for the next decade, the next 10 years, the next chapter. We're almost done with the 20s. We're moving on to the 30. So wherever you at, look, man, I'm just sharing this message with you to let you know that I believe in you. And whatever you're working on, if you're going towards being an entrepreneur, whether you want to be an artist, a producer, a scientist, wherever you're at, man, and whatever you're trying to do, believe in yourself, find your lane, and stick to your script. One love.